futures trades that I took yesterday, held on to those overnight. Our demand zone did work, and I went ahead and trimmed two of those from yesterday's entries there in the zone. So we'll go ahead and get going here. Let me make sure that I don't have see. So this is a on my end, the D&D always pops up. So I need to remember to come in here and do the do not disturb. So if I have the do not disturb on, then I don't hear when you guys ping me. And that's just something I got to get used to doing. Is there any way to set that up so that it doesn't default to don't disturb Lorna by chance? Or is that just something I have to look at every day? It's been doing that for quite a while. So I think it's just something that happens, not a big deal. Anyways, let's go over same things. Sometimes I like to come in here and just kind of babble and talk because I think the things that I say are important, just about experiences and my thoughts on the day. And I started with this morning with, some. I saw a tweet yesterday and it made me laugh because it said something like, "Some days are for trading, other days are for just watching, and other days are for fishing, you know. And so you have to figure out, is this the day for you to trade? Personally, I think today is a great day because we're coming in and seeing the reaction out of the demand zone, pushing up into the supply zone. What's up, DJ? Yes, I am back. I am back, believe it or not. I could feel my body here in front of the screens. I'm mentally still on vacation a little bit, just a tad. There were moments in my flight back and my day yesterday of looking around the backyard, thinking, "Man, I wish I was still on vacation." Um, and that's because we have had torrential downpour. It seems like every single day, and my backyard looks like a jungle. And I had a long conversation with my wife this morning about like, do we really? I know this is gonna throw you guys for one, but do we really want that? Like, do I want this house over the age of 60? Like, it's beautiful, and there's this part of me that's like, oh man, we're grandparents, and it'd be cool to have the grandkids here when they get older. And then there's a part of me that's like, I know how much maintenance it takes to live on the water and to take care of this jungle back here. I mean, I was only gone 2 weeks, and it's just like, holy moly, there's a lot to take care of here, man. Yeah, it's been crazy. So, anyways, you guys should be on the future charts this morning. And so I noticed there's a little eyeball. So if you're new here, welcome. There's an eyeball, there should be, that is next to the chart that I want you to click on. Sometimes when you first click on them, you cannot see them. Just click on the other screen and then go back to where I am, and that should get you on the right chart. What you should be looking at is the ES futures here on the left-hand side. And then we'll go over this setup and what it means here in a few seconds. Wow, think or swim. Let's pull this down about right there. And we'll go over my setup here, okay? Very, very important. I always say that, what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do, guys, is I personally got on this journey of just wanting to make my intraday trading very quick, right? And my time frame, I say 30 to 90 minutes. It could be before the market opens. It could be depending on what happens, right? So if you go into yesterday's close and you're long and then you get the big pop and you come in and you start closing out positions, and let's say that your goal is to make a couple $100 to $1,000 a day, somewhere in there. Like, I don't have a number, I really don't. It's just somewhere in there. And if I make that amount of money, then I'm finished. Mentally, I'm finished. And sometimes that happens before the market opens. I'll take trades, or sometimes it's at night. I could trade the night before because I trade ES futures at night as well. And sometimes that makes it a lot easier to come in here. And I keep on encouraging everyone in here to get your futures access, because here at Simpler, we have all sorts of training that you can use to help you and guide you in your future decisions. Little innuendo there. And I just think if there's anybody listening right now, I'm going to put you on my list, the naughty list for Christmas. Who in here listening right now still does not have futures access? Come on. Somebody in here is listening that does not have futures access. TLC. Okay, I'm going to ask you, why do you not have futures access? For you all that do not have it, please tell me why. Why would you not? I'm brand new, so I don't think I do. Okay, Steve. Okay, don't know it or understand it. So TLC, I go over it every single morning, and hopefully you understand. So here's my thing. When I first started to learn about futures, this was my thing, TLC. I actually thought that it was in its whole, like a whole different world. I felt like, holy moly, this is too difficult. Only the big traders do this. Only the big money trades futures. And listen, I'm gonna make this real easy for you, and for anybody that might be scared or whatever. Did you know that a chart is just a chart, right? It really is. And there's a lot of different scenarios I could teach you guys about. Like, some people are like, well, you can't trade crypto because crypto trades differently, and as I got better at my trading, I'm like, that's not true. Trading is just, it's the same thing, guys. A chart is a chart, man. There's a zone, we want to go long at it. There's a zone, we want to go short at it. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter what charts we're on, whether it's futures, equity, forex, any of those things. Okay, so that's my first answer to you: is that don't be afraid. It's all the same, man. It really, really is. Okay. So, for instance, this morning we had a catalyst and it pushed price up into a supply zone, the same supply zone that I gave you yesterday. And this is where I chose to trim my positions here on the futures. And I actually was a little late because I was talking to my chat GPT, trying to get some levels for today. And these were the levels here. I'm going to bring this over real quick. And so these were the levels for today. And I said, hey, short setup 76.10. I can't make this up. this is as price was getting there. So here's 76.10. Here's my thing, right here. Boom. And it gets, what in the hell? It's July 14th, guys. July 14th. Please change the date. This is the parts that I don't like. Please change the date. Come on, dude. Anyways. All right. All right. So demand zone to supply zone, right? How hard is that? It's a rectangle. We teach you how to go long down here and to be, concerned right up here. And then in the middle, right here, this is a 1 minute. Okay. So let's just make sure we go over this again. Back to, I need you to get your futures set up, guys. Because the reason why I say that is because I want you to come in here and participate and make money with me. I don't think it's fair. I'm going to make money almost every day trading the futures. And if you don't have futures, you don't want to join me? Come on. You know, this is like a job, if you will. But I don't have to talk to a boss. I don't have to ask them if it's okay if I do this or not. It's okay if I go to lunch early. All I have to do is put some levels on a chart. It takes me maybe 30 minutes, to get all this stuff put together here. And then all I have to do is execute it. And I'm either going to lose or I'm going to win. And after I win, I can celebrate and go, you know what? I think I'll take that boat ride. Or, hey, I think I'll go grab lunch. Right? Doesn't that sound nice? I'm not trying to sell you anything here. You're already here, folks. You're already here. You've already paid. You're in this room. Now, all you have to do is just listen, learn, and then execute. All right. So it will be fun if you make it fun. All right. But let's go over the chart so that you fully understand what's going on. All right. ES futures on the left-hand side in this green box. This is a 5-minute chart. The reason why we use a 5-minute chart in the trendy room is because we have a PMZ, the pre-market zone, and it is one of my most popular indicators, in my opinion. And it makes setups a lot more fun. You know, you could take the trade outside of the box or below the box. You can go long and short out of it, and it really makes your decision pretty easy. It really does. It makes the decisions of taking a trade pretty easy. And I'll teach you all about that. And I go over it every single morning. Now, that's the reason it's on the 5-minute. Now, you'll look at the 5-minute and go, holy crap, there's a lot of levels on here, right? Well, this morning's move, if we take all this stuff out of here, okay, because we already went through this, we hit that, we hit my red zone. So none of this really, anything between this gray zone and this red zone are just waypoints. Anybody fly? If you fly an airplane, or maybe even if you're on a ship, you have waypoints, right? It's like destination. This is going from A to Z, as they would say, Z. And you will see waypoints on my blueprint. And those waypoints are places where if you're long, you could take profits at these levels that I have on here. But also you need to understand, you know, where you want to get long and where you want to get short. All those things are really important in your decision making. But what I want you to know in the trendy room and in supply and demand is that my mission is to teach you how to take a trade from point A and make it to point Z. Did you guys know that? That is actually the biggest, like, that is my biggest mission, to get you from point A to point Z. And did you know that it's probably the hardest part of what I do? Do you guys know that? It's the hardest part of what I do. This is a very, um, for me, it can be super exhausting. Not meaning like you're exhausting, but like I know how much and how much it can pay you and how good it feels, man, to make it from point A to Z, right? Could you guys imagine if you were to set up a trip, a vacation with your friends or your significant other, and you're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna set sail, or we're gonna fly from Florida and we're gonna go to California," right? And every time you get into the car, the ship, or on an airplane, you stopped in Alabama and you never even made it to Mississippi and you never made it to California. Wouldn't you be mad? Like seriously, I'm asking you a question. Would you guys be mad if your best friend was the driver or the pilot and they always stopped, right? They always stopped and you're like, "Well, why, you know, WTF? Like, why are we not going to California?" And they're like, "Well, you know, I don't know. Just kind of scared, man. You know, just kind of scared. I just don't want to go there." Right? Well, trading is the same way. Like, this is your Florida, if you will, and this is your California, you know, and you don't get to see all of the beautiful things that are going on because you never quite make it, right? And I believe that you don't make it there because you micromanage, because you put too much thought into your trading. I was thinking I'm going to do the call, the, you know, we do this simpler, we do a call where we have some of our traders on there. And it's coming up, I think, towards the end of the month. And I was thinking, you know, one thing I wish they would ask me, and I can actually ask them to ask me this, but ask me what, you know, how did you get to a point where trading just really made sense to you? Do you know how like a lot of people ask that question? I feel like mine is simple. I I make it sound too simple, but basically what happened is I got my whole process down and then I just stopped caring so much. That's right. I stopped caring so much because the caring and over managing, micromanaging, and all these different things that come with over analysis, analysis paralysis. It is exhausting. That's what I would tell you. Looking back at my old self, it's too much, man. I already know, and my goal is to get you to think like I do. I already know that my levels work more than they don't. All right? Do you guys understand that? My levels work more than they don't. All right? And if you've been with me for quite some time and you believe they don't, then I don't know what to tell you. We need to go have a beer at a bar and have a conversation because they work a lot. And when they work a lot, I have conviction and confidence to take my trades, whether I get stopped out or not, or if it goes to zero. That's what I'm telling you. And when I started to feel this way and have confidence in my levels, that means I execute my levels and then I get to find out if I'm right or wrong instead of over analyzing. Over analyzing, I see it a lot, is just like you always have a reason why you're not going to take a trade. And I did that for many, many years. And my wife and I used to sit down, who is my therapist, and we would sit down and talk. And she would say the same thing to me that I'm telling you. John, you're confident in your system, right? Why are you not taking the trade setups? Well, babe, because like yesterday I lost some money and everybody watched me lose and I didn't like the way it made me feel. Okay, stop being afraid. They already know you can trade, John. That's why they signed up. That's why they're here. They want to learn from you. Have some confidence in yourself. And I would encourage you all to have the same confidence. You're here, you're learning. Let's think about that. Okay. There's a reason why you came here. There's a reason why you want to learn the levels that me and Melissa teach you. And the way that you prove that to yourself is by executing the trade and allowing the market to take control of the outcome. Okay. Now, I want you to manage your trade, meaning like you understand where your stop is before you take the trade. If you're going to use a stop, that's my thing too. I'll let things go to zero. I'm not afraid to admit that. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Because I win more than I lose. All right. So if we can get you to that point, then you'll start to get to this Zen state that I talk about when trading. You will take a trade. You won't be afraid to lose because you understand that losing is part of this. Okay. So on this board right here, on these charts, you're going to see several different setups. And when they set up, you execute them so that maybe you take advantage of it and you're able to make some money. Okay. Yeah, it's not a good way to run a business for sure. For sure, DJ. It's really not. So when we come in here, I want your goal to be the same way. Let's see if we can make money intraday within 30 minutes to 90. This has nothing to do with your swing trades. This is just intraday trading. Sometimes I have to sit on a loss. Like basically, I was sitting on a loss yesterday because I was buying the dip, right? And I had to sit on that loss overnight. And then I wake up and then we have a catalyst, CPI, by the way, a catalyst that pushes price to supply. Okay. And now you see that the red zone that I gave you has caused price to move all the way from 76.10 all the way into 75.80. Now, why? The masses will tell you, well, the numbers came out or whatever made the market go up. Something came out and then somebody takes that information and then they start to break it apart and then they'll be like, hey, this is the reason. But we here in the room understand that the reason why prices broke down is because right underneath this line, if I take that off, that is your trendy edge. That is the indicator that probably 90+% of you have already bought and was already there before price got there. You understand when price is underneath and it pushes up, this is resistance until proven otherwise. Therefore, if you're long, we go ahead and take a trim. Okay, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, let's go ahead and put that line back on there. Control Z. All right, over here is the 1 minute chart. The 1 minute chart just gives me quicker signals. And there's a reason, another reason why I have this on here is because the PMZ, the pre-market zone, once it pops up, a lot of my entries are based off of 1 minute confirmations. Okay. And I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Over on the right hand side, we have the NASDAQ futures, and currently the NASDAQ futures are up about 300 points or so. Okay. Now, for every 44 points is about $1. I think it's 44 points, about $1 in the QQQ. So like if I take this over here and we look at the Qs, let me see if I have them on here. No, I don't. So let's add them on here real quick. 1, 2, 3. All right, and let's see if they put that in there. I don't know how that popped up like that. Sorry about that. Oh, there it is right there. So we're sitting at 720, basically, around 720. So we're up about $8 bucks, sorry, about $8 or so. Okay. Now, what we don't want to happen is we don't want this to come all the way back down, but sometimes that does happen, and we'll talk about that here in a second as well. Okay. So this is the advantage of futures, long story, right? To get to the point. But this is the advantage of the futures. Like, this is why I tell you to trade the futures, because non-future traders, what you're doing is you're sitting here watching the charts work and you're watching prices go down. And I remember what that feels like. It's like, dude, are you serious? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm sitting on positions. I can't close them until the market opens, and you're just watching your positions dwindle. That's what's happening. You're watching things go down and you're like, dude, this sucks. So if you're in the futures, you're able to take advantage of these moves before the market opens. I think I made my point. Okay. The NASDAQ is up to you if you want to trade it. I think it's an absolute beast. If I could just control my emotions around the NASDAQ, I would probably retire. I'm being serious. The money that you can make from the NASDAQ is ridiculous. And the crazy thing is that it's not doing anything differently. Like, it's moving out of the PMZ and it gets to my target. Ooh, right? It breaks down below the PMZ. Oh, sweet. It looks so cool. But it's so freaking expensive and it moves so fast. It will give you a minor, like, it feels like a stroke. Like, I've been in this thing and I've been up, down thousands of dollars and I'm ready to lose my brain. Like, it just hurts and I can't do it. I just can't do it, man. I have to take a trade and probably get punched in the face, get knocked out, then wait back up, and maybe I'll make some money. But like when I'm watching it, that's where like the micromanagement and stuff, I freak out, man. And I'm just being real with you. It's very difficult to hold these trades. But I know if I could just probably automate it so that I'm not looking at it, like automate these, I can make tons of money, guys. And when I say tons of money, I really think with my system, if I wasn't such a baby, I would make somewhere between 2,500 to 5 grand a day. And I'm not kidding. You guys believe that? It is definitely doable. I mean, you understand that, right? 2,500 to $5,000 a day. I really think it is doable. NDX, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me because I deal with this thing where I'm trading in front of people, and NDX is really expensive. Like, I'll watch John Carter every once in a while do an NDX trade, and he's like, "Hey, let's see if we can get this move into the end of the day or something." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's do that." And then I'll see him take the trade, and the contract's like $800, and I'm like, "Holy shit, this thing expires like in 20 minutes. That's $800." And I've told you guys before, I don't come from money. So like throwing 800 bucks and I would just be doing one contract, I'm like, holy moly, that's a lot of money. So, different things for different folks. I mean, that's just how it goes. But like it's really expensive to me. But a spread, maybe, spreads if I were to really like lock in and pay attention to NDX, yeah, maybe. I've done some butterflies with it. Most of them lose, some of them win. But yeah. But anyways, the PMZ, I'm gonna break this down for you guys real quick, okay? I'm gonna make a quick little, like if I were to meet you at a bar and talk about what we do, is we come in here and the first, 30 minutes to 90 minutes, we're trying to make money. And the whole thing about trendy is that we use supply and demand zones, okay? Now, demand zones will be on the bottom and supply zones are up at the top, okay? And remember, I said, I want to get you from point A, okay, to point Z, right? And then we have these waypoints. I'm going to make these waypoints blue, all right? They're going to be like this, okay? Guys, listen up, okay? Because this is like literally so easy. Meaning like, I think the concept, okay? When prices come down to point A, which is a demand zone, we're looking to go long, okay? That's it. We're looking to go long. When we go long out of here, your levels to the upside are resistance until proven otherwise. These would be our waypoints. So Florida, Alabama, Oklahoma, Phoenix, California. Okay. At each one of these places, I need you to stop and get some gas. So you're going to stop, you're going to chill, you're going to figure out, you're going to get a little bit of food in your tummy, and you're going to start to feel a little bit better about your trip, right? Sometimes you let other people take over as well. All right. At these points, you can choose whether or not to take a trim, pull your stops up, things like that, because most likely the levels that I'm sharing with you are going to cause resistance in that trade. So you're going to find that prices pull back. Now, it may not be a big deal to you because I teach this all the time and I show you this, but it's a big deal to people who have not seen this before because they don't understand why prices pull back. And I remember when I first started trading, I was like, shit, man, if I could just figure out why I'm losing money or not taking profits when I should be, I could be a better trader. How do I figure out these waypoints? You figure them out by identifying structure, Fibonacci's, EMAs, okay? All of these there's all kinds of different analysis out there. And supply and demand. When we get here, I just want you to be aware of these things. It's up to you if you want to take profits or pull stops up and things. Remember, I'm trying to get us from point A to point Z. It's hard to do, listen to me, it's hard to do with one contract, isn't it? Do you guys understand? It's hard to do with one contract because when you get here, you're already up, say, 50%. When you get here, you might be up 100%. And you are going to be faced with a lot of questions you didn't think about when you were like, yeah, man, I'll take this trade. Now you're thinking about, dude, this 100% could pay my gas this week. This 100% could take me to the dinner that I wanted to try at the new restaurant. This 100% blah, blah, blah. Am I right, guys? Don't you think about these things? Or, hey, this 100% is going to pay for the loss that I took yesterday. How many of you guys think about that? Right? Well, shit, I lost $1,000 yesterday. If I take my profits here, I'm back to break even, baby. Right? So you're going to take the money off there. This is why we never really get anywhere. This is why so many traders not only fail, but they also get to break even, right? How many of you guys traded for months just to be at break even. Seriously. Anybody in here listen to me right now? Trade just to see break even results. Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. It's pretty crazy. So there are some solutions to this. I'm just going to give it to you down and dirty. Seriously. One, this is why you'll see me tell you I'm going to take this trade and allow it to go to zero. Okay? I have already made it up in my mind that I'm going to lose the money. This is a power move between me and my other person that lives on my left shoulder. Okay? Because I'm telling him, hey, John, I don't want to be break even. I know that my levels work more than they don't. I need to stick in this trade. So you'll see me take trades and just say, hey, guys, I'm okay with zero here. Where you may be getting, or you may mistake my my risk is that I'm not just like throwing a lotto idea out, I'm using my levels. And my levels are really important and they work a lot. And so I'm just taking a trade with conviction based off of my level, saying, hey guys, I'm gonna put $500 here and I want to make it to point Z. And if I make it to point Z, then guess what? I've accomplished it. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing this, if you don't like that way, is that you use multiple contracts. Okay. Multiple contracts give you the ability that every time we get to a waypoint, you can take some gas. Does that make sense, guys? So you're going to get to the first waypoint and you're going to trim your position, and then you're going to hold the rest of the contracts until you get to the next one. And then you can take a trim here. And then finally, you make it here. And guess what? That last contract that you have is up so much from where you entered, you no longer have the fear of holding. How many of you in here have had a couple contracts before and you've trimmed on the way up or down, depending on the side of the position you were on, and it feels really awesome to hold that last contract? How many of you guys have been there? And my question to you, if you've been there, but you're not doing it anymore, why not? Right? So if you're okay with that, take more than one contract, get to the point where now you can hold this at a Zen type state. Okay. So if we could just learn to do that, you may have a better probability of getting to the point C. Okay. And that's what I would love for everybody in here. All right. Trim along the way, no stops, crash helmet on, let it rip. That's right, CJC. And what's up, man? What's up, CJC? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see everybody, but I just haven't seen your face in a while. All right. So let's just get to point A and Z, man. That's all we're trying to do, okay, guys? But somewhere between point A and Z, there is a hidden gem. What is that hidden gem? Anybody want to take a guess? What's the hidden gem? What's the hidden gem? Money. Yeah, sure. Right, Rom? Money, man. The PMZ and trust in your process. But the PMZ, guys, remember, I created the PMZ because I have learned by watching you guys. Did you know that? Because I've been watching you. And I learned over many years that you guys are impatient. I mean, seriously. Right? You're only patient when it's convenient, and you're not patient when it's not convenient. Like, it's a mess, man. Everybody's looking to make money. And so I had to come up with something called the PMZ. And the PMZ on a 5-minute chart is going to pop up somewhere typically between A and Z. Okay. Now, when that PMZ pops up, guys, it is just a box, just like everything else trendy does. It's a zone. It prices above it, it's a buy zone. It prices below it, it's a sell zone. It prices in the middle of it, it is neutral. We can go long above, or we can go short below. Okay, watch this. Watch my candles. Comes down, we're looking for a buy. Moves up, we are looking for a short. Okay, if it's in the middle, it is a neutral. Okay, all right. There are only a few ways to trade the PMZ. Okay, and that is aggressive and conservative. Aggressive, as soon as price breaks down, go short. You're looking for money. Soon as price breaks above, go long. Conservative. Conservative, a lot of traders, including Melissa, what they will do is wait for the first 5-minute chart, or sorry, candle to close. So right when we open up, I want you to imagine this is your candle. You're going to wait for it to close. And it's going to keep moving sometimes in the direction you want, whether that's to the downside or the upside. I'm going to pretend it's to the upside. And you're just going to watch. And you're going to have a lot of emotions as a trader. You're going to get a FOMO. You're going to think about all the things you're missing. And sometimes the old you would chase this candle. But the new you is saying, hey, I understand gravity. And a lot of times prices like to come back. So you're going to watch this candle for 5 long freaking minutes, man. Right? And this is how you know if you're addicted to trading, right? This 5-minute candle is going to feel like 2 hours. You're going to be like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? This thing's moved, 20 points in the first 5 minutes. But you're going to wait for it to close because you're a good, trader and you have a lot of patience. And you're going to wait now after it closes, you're going to wait to see if price will come back. And I went over this yesterday. As a matter of fact, if you listened yesterday, this worked awesome. So as price comes back and it gets very close to the PMZ, it doesn't have to touch it. It doesn't have to touch it. It gets close. You have to make a decision right here if you want to be aggressive or conservative. Now, you've already been conservative from a standpoint of you waited. Okay, please listen to me. You've waited for price to come all the way back. Now it's back there. You have to make another decision. An aggressive trader will set their trade up in advance and you will go long from this level. And that's what you're looking for. You don't care if it closes there, none of that. It came back, you're going long. That is an aggressive shot at the PMZ. Okay. A conservative look for this, you wait for the candle to close. And the reason why you wait for it to close is sometimes this thing might close all the way down here. I've seen it. Sometimes it will close way down here. And if it closes in here, what sort of setup is it? It's a neutral setup, right? So now it closes, and this is where the 1-minute chart comes into play for me. Now I look at the 1 minute. It's a neutral strategy. It happens on a 1 minute. And now what I can do is I can wait for these little tiny 1-minute candles. Sometimes they're big. And if it reclaims, boom, it closes, I'm long. Boop, boop, boop. I'm looking for that. Sometimes the 1-minute candles, remember we're neutral, start doing this. It closes, I'm short. Okay? Everybody understand that? That sums it up. So if you don't get it, go back and watch this. Okay? Now, the same thing is true on the other side. Okay? Conservative, you're going to wait for it to close. You're going to wait for price to come back up to the PMZ. As it gets closer or close, you have to make a decision right here if you're going to go aggressive short. What you're looking for is a reaction that looks like this. You've seen it unfold plenty of times. Okay. You can also wait for prices to close because sometimes price does this. And then you're like, shit, I just went short and I got my butt handed to me. Sometimes prices close inside, and once again, it starts the process of neutral. From this point, either the 1-minute candles can go here, or sometimes they can go back down here. Okay. Whatever you do, please try your best to do the same thing, rinse and repeat, at least for X amount of days so that you have some data to look at and go, okay, cool. You know, this is where I want to this is what I want to do every day. And it's okay if you change it up. Just make notes and journal so that you know where you're having a hard time and where you're not, all right? Everybody understand? Okay. Now, to summarize, supply, demand, A to Z. The PMZ is to help you. Sometimes it's hard for you to make a decision because we don't come down to A today. Maybe we came to A this morning before the market even opens. We've already hit Z. So guess what that means, guys? We've hit A yesterday. We hit Z this morning. What does that mean for today? That means we are stuck between A and Z. So now comes the hardest part of trading. And this is why I said go fishing. Now we must speculate. Seriously, we're humans, right? Let's speculate together real quick. Are we going to A or are we going to Z? Anybody know? Anybody know? Are we going back to A or are we going back to Z? Okay, John says Z. That's speculation. It's okay for John to speculate. I am 100% okay with John speculating. That's up to him, right? And somebody else in here is probably speculating we go back to A. All right. The PMZ, another reason why it was built was not, not only to just get, everyone who wants to like trade fast and make money, but also to eliminate or curve this whole speculation thing. Now, what you can do is take the process that I just taught you and you can trade between the A and the Z with a system. Ah, a system. Did you know that I have spent so much money over the years in different trading rooms looking for someone to help me with a system? That's what I was in search for. I didn't know it. When I first started, I just wanted to make a lot of money. And I was like, yeah, man, if I just copy people, I'll be a millionaire. This guy makes $1 million, I can make $1 million, right? But come to find out, the majority of people actually do not have a system. Isn't that some bullshit? I want you to think about that. The money that I spent for many years, guys, the money that I've spent for many years, these people wake up in the morning, there is no system. They just want you to listen to their jokes and they want you to like have fun and they want to make money. And it's cool, man. A lot of these people are awesome. They're good people. But what I notice is that we don't have a system. Okay, can we just do what we did yesterday? They don't remember what they did. They just know they made money. They're happy about it. I need something that is rinse and repeat every single day. And the thing that we can rinse and repeat is that we can find supply and demand. A PMZ will pop up on the chart 5 minutes before the open, and I can trade the same way every single day. Whether it wins or it loses, most of the time it wins. Sometimes it loses. It's okay. That is what rinse and repeat is all about. That's what you should be in search for. I'm not saying that my system is the best in the world. I'm telling you that it is a rinse and repeat system. And if you are a trading tourist who comes in and out of several different strategies all of the time, you will continue to have a hard time because you are consistently changing up strategies and systems, and you will not become consistent because you have so many things to choose from, your head's spinning. What are you after? Most of you guys are after just making money. I get it. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make money. But please think about what you're doing. Is it scalable? Can you rinse and repeat this every single day? I hope you can. I really hope you can. I think we can. Matter of fact, I get so bored coming in here sometimes because we do the same thing every single day. I hope you can understand the value of that because I didn't understand it when I first started trading. I really didn't. It's a hard world out there, okay? So we have about 12 minutes left, and you're going to notice on my charts I have a blue, a yellow, and a purple. These at the moment are 4-hour buy and sell zones. Remember, I told you I would tell you about an imbalance. Well, when the catalyst came out, it pushed price to a supply zone, and now prices are moving back. And a lot of times, what happens is that prices pull back into the imbalance of the market. And the reason why they say that is because the idea is not everybody knows. Some people know or think they know what's going to come out. That's always the story, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't pay us. Like, who gives a crap if somebody knew? I don't care if somebody has insider information. What the hell does that do for me? So what we try to do in here is that we align ourselves with what we believe is institutional order flow. And institutions have the bigger money, they make the bigger moves in the market. And when we start to pull back, we are trying to align ourselves with the bigger move that happened. Because the idea is that there are orders placed in the market and not all the orders were filled. You guys hear me? Not all the orders are filled. So the big money doesn't chase up here. This is where retail chases. That's you and me. And then they get clobbered. And then prices come back down to the imbalance. And that's what you and I are trying to do is we are trying to align ourselves with the bigger money. Okay. Everybody understand? Now, today, we may have a really big PMZ because of the bigger move that happened. Okay. It might be pretty big when it pops up. I mean, at the moment, it looks like it's like 15 points wide, which is a really wide PMZ. So if you're brand new here, looking at the PMZ, I apologize, but I can't like do anything about it. But this is going to be a pretty wide PMZ today, which means more risk. And if it's too risky for you, don't trade it. Okay. Up to you. All right. The gold is the golden pocket of this range. Okay. These are our zones. So, for example, this is where I'd expect sellers to show up. This is where I expect buyers to show up. And then again, this is the golden profit level. This is where the NASDAQ is holding at the moment. And we're going to have a PMZ that pops up. So you kind of have a lot of boxes around each other. And, that's just a product of what's going on here. Okay. In the middle here, again, this is a 1-minute chart. And on the 1-minute chart, what I'm doing is I'm looking for Melissa's. This is a shotgun method over here, by the way. You see how I have entries and risk? This is a shotgun method. And I'm using a 1-minute, so we're getting a lot of signals. So anytime Melissa's strategy for confirmation pops up, it's going to tell me an entry on the long side or the short side. So this one is an entry on the long side. So for example, right now it's telling me to try and go long at 75.81 with a risk of 10. A lot of times what I'm looking for is this risk. If it's outside of my comfort zone, I'm not going to take this trade. Okay. It has to be within my comfort zone. And the other thing that's super important are there waypoints in the way. So for example, notice right here where it says entry, I have this dotted orange line. That is a trendy edge. And I know when price is underneath it, it's resistance until proven otherwise. So maybe instead of going long here at 75.81, I'm going to wait for this to pull back. When this pulls back, what it does is it shortens or creates a decrease in risk. Instead of it being 10 points, if it pulled back to here, it might be only 5 points. And then I take my shot and see if I can move to the upside. And then if I get stopped out, it's only 5 points, not 10 points. Okay. A lot of information for you guys. All right. But once we open up, I'll go over it step by step so that you can understand and hopefully it makes it a little bit more clearer for you. Now, besides all this stuff for 30 to 90 minutes of doing this kind of work, the next thing is I come in every single morning and I think about my portfolio. Like, for example, we took QQQ yesterday. I said, hey guys, NQ finally hit my zone. And I had a zone for you in the morning. We came down to that zone. I took a long, okay? And I paid $4.37 for a Friday expiration of 7/20. All right, so that would be the first thing is when I'm looking at my portfolio, okay, let's come up here and I'm going to go right here and I'm going to go to a current account positions, okay? So let's go ahead and pause this for a minute and go over this. I have a coin call that costs 686 bucks as of yesterday, and it does not expire until January of 27. I have Microsoft spread that does not expire, and we trimmed yesterday at plus 50% on our other ones. That does not expire until January 27. I have Netflix that is a free trade for me. That was one of my biggest trades this year. These are just free, and I got the 130 calls that expire in January, and they're 63 cents. They're super cheap. Okay. And then I have a bunch of NVIDIA stuff, and you guys know what all that is. I have a bunch of calls for January, and then I have some calls that I've sold short. I got some put debit spreads, yada, yada. Then I have the QQQ 720s. Okay. The 720s, I think right there. Which this is not accurate. Is that accurate? Give me 1 second, guys. Something's not right here. Oh, there it is right there. I think that's it right there. Yeah. So as of yesterday, it was 415. I paid 437. And obviously this should be up this morning. Okay. So what I look at are the expirations that are closer to me, which is right now, right? Right? Everybody understand that? So after I do all my analysis, I'm thinking about trading futures and all that fun stuff. Well, I'm also paying attention to this. I got to get this thing off our books. We've gapped up, right? We're pretty close to actually 720. So now we're at the money. And if I get the opportunity, I'm most likely going to sell this. So that's the first agenda item, if you will, that I need to take care of. Does everybody understand that? And I would think all of you already understand this, okay? Everybody understand that? So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to my monitor tab and I'm going to make sure that I can get this thing ready to sell. Okay. And what I do is I right click on that call and I have to look at, I know you guys can't see this part, but that's okay. I look at 17 July. It says it's in the money. I guess we're trading above 720. Yeah. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to create closing order. Okay. And I'm not going to put in a price. Okay. I'm not going to put in a price. And this is what it looks like right here. Okay. I'm not going to put in a price because once we open, this is going to change. Okay. Now, listen to me. The QQQ moves very quickly. So you cannot be a dick for a tick. Okay. You cannot be a D for a T. So if this says $800 right on the open, typically what I'll do is I won't try to get $8. I'll actually do like 780 and take the loss because if it keeps moving really fast on you, you're going to be chasing this thing and it's going to piss you off. And before you know it, your $8 option went back down to 6. So don't be a D for a T. Okay. All right. We have 2 minutes. I talked a lot. Now we have the PMZ. This is the PMZ right here. Okay. This is the PMZ as well, right there. Okay. It's pretty wide. I think it's like, is it 8 points? So anytime mine is over 8, it's always 8. If it's under 5, it's always 5. Write that down if you can't remember that. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. All right, so we're almost there. So what I'm going to do, this is my plan, guys. I'm going to sell my QQQ when we open, and then I'm going to go make myself a new coffee, and then I'll come back, okay? Because I didn't give myself enough time. So what I'm doing is I'm sitting here. I'm waiting for the Qs to open, which is in 29 seconds, and then I'm going to try to sell, okay? And actually, this is kind of like a slow version to do it like this. I could show you guys a different way on the active trader to make it so much more fun. All right, we're at 677 and 10. All right, just sold. There we go. Cool. So we made a little bit of money on that. And give me 1 second, okay? I have to get my coffee. It's just something I got to do, and I'll be right back. Right now, we are underneath the PMZ. It is a sell zone if we push back up to it. You can do aggressive, or you can do a confirmation. Over here on the QQQ, it's a neutral setup. Remember, do you want to wait for the 5 minute to close? That's up to you. Or do you want to be aggressive? I don't care, but I'm going to walk you through it here in a few minutes. So we're going to be conservative at the moment because I got to go make a coffee. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and walk through this, okay? So it's been 2 minutes since the market opened, and prices are moving down, okay? They're moving towards the imbalance of the market. And the imbalance is just a big candle. See that really big candle? So we're just moving back down towards this area. All right. Now this liquidity chop, I need to change it. So I'm going to come up here and change it. Okay. I'm going to go to right there at the trendy edge. All right. So liquidity chop, what I'm looking for is for the market to take liquidity. So if we can move down towards this line in the sand, we should sweep people who have their stops in here and we'll take their money, and then we should push price back to the upside here. Okay, that's the idea if we get there. If we get there. If this, then that. All right. Now we also have an iron condor on. In GS, I'm a little disappointed. I almost bought 50 bucks out of the money on Goldman Sachs, but didn't get the opportunity to yesterday before the close. And Vincent, yes, nice to see you, man. I'm back from Canada. Nice to see you, Vincent. Welcome back. I just got back myself. Good Canada. That's how they say it. And we're just waiting patiently. 5-minute candle close, guys. So 5-minute candle close. Liquidity chop almost hit down here on the NASI. All right. And over here in the middle, we have no higher lows, not even on the 1-minute candle yet, guys. So there's like nothing to do at the moment, right? We don't even have a higher low on the 1 minute. So we're just going to kind of chill out. We're going to watch this for a bit because there's other ways to get into a trade. You don't have to be at one of my levels, believe it or not. There's other ways of getting in trades, and I'll talk through that if we get this set up, okay? And we're just too far away for a PMZ trade at the moment. So now we have to rely on, liquidity chop or this purple zone down here. Did JPM report this morning or do they report this afternoon? Anybody know offhand? This morning? Okay. All right, gotcha. So they are only up about 2. They might be a buy right here. They might be a buy. I'm gonna check this out real quick. Remember, I did my levels last night. So we want to check that chart. See if we came down into a level here. We got to the 327 level and popped right off of it. We're probably, possibly going to 345. So that is an area that we could look at. Let me see. Let's go into 10 July and let's do 345s. Let's do a 340 by 345. Let's see. It's going to only cost me $1.70. Implied vol is 26%. That's not too bad. We are coming up to a few levels here that could give us a hard time. I'm going to try to get a lower price though. I'm going to go for 175. See if I can get filled. So I'm trying to get the 340s by 345s for $1.75. We need a pullback here. All right, so starting to bounce here, we did make a higher low, so we had an entry on a 1 minute at 75.69. Okay, that's 6 points. I would be looking for like 5-point increments of taking profits here on futures on the ES. All right, so that would be like your first target in here. Second target would be 75.81. All right, so I got in JPM. Let's see if it works. It's a pretty cheap trade, so we don't need to micromanage it. Okay. Dude, so beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing those pictures. Whew. So you're pretty close to, no, we weren't close, were we? I went to British Columbia. Is that what it's called? British Columbia? I'm like, do I know what I'm talking about? All right, nice move here. Hit our second target. Third target's going to be 87. So remember, the ES futures, this is a sell zone at the moment, and the NASDAQ futures are a neutral. Okay. Now remember what I said. What is the bottom of your PMZ number, guys? Can you tell me? For those who have the PMZ, many of you do. What is the bottom of your PMZ number for the ES futures? Is it 75.89? 85.86? It's about right there, right? All right. So this area, let's go back over the teaching. I'm going to put a circle here. This area right here is where you have to decide whether or not you are going to be aggressive or not. Okay. So whether or not you're going to be aggressive. Nice, Daniel. Holy IBM. Holy $70 down, guys. What in the actual F? All right, guys, we're up 31% already on JPM, if you wanted to trim or not. Cat up $28. Cat was another one that I gave you guys levels on this last night. Now, Cat is actually an AC/DC, guys. Cat is actually an AC/DC. So if you really like Cat, then we would be looking for 1,050. Is that crazy though? $100? I haven't traded Cat this year. Seems crazy. So right here is where I expect Cat to kind of lose some momentum. All right, so we got pretty close. See, there's my orange circle. So remember I said don't be a D for T. So right here, a person who is getting short here is being aggressive. They're like, hey, I'm close enough to the level. I'm going to try to go short. Okay. Now your target would be probably, you take some fibs right here, would be right here. I mean, that's how fast. 38.2, maybe you get 72 and that level. All I'm doing is using some fibs. I said maybe you get 72, but this would be your first target there. All right, there's 75. We are pulling back for that 964 level that I talked about on my levels for CAT. It's not a big pullback, it's just a pullback. So hey Jim, I think are you talking about your yellow line, Jim? You talking about your yellow line? Okay, so that yellow line is that 15-minute watch. So I'm gonna right click. This is free for anyone that doesn't have it. It's the 15-minute exponential moving average. And it's here, if I come up here, edit studies, it's gonna be blah blah blah. All right, guys, so we're out of JPM at 250. Nice little day trade there. You can hold if you want to, totally up to you. Just taking advantage of the chart that I gave you last night. Oh, it's right here, my man. So if we go to right here, and let's share that code with you. Share. Okay, take that off. Take that off. It is right here. That's a free indicator on Thinkorswim, man. All right, so we pull back a few points here, and now let's see if we actually get the touch. All right, there it is. There's your touch. Now, again, aggressive or conservative. I personally do not like these type of trades for some reason. I think it's because I'm a bull by heart. Look at the NASDAQ, though. There are clues on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's going inside and up, and I'm getting a buy signal. Okay? I'm getting a buy signal here. Nice, DJ. Good job. All right. There's your entry on aggressive. And you got a few points there as well. Now, how many of you guys listening try to aggressive short there? I'm just kind of curious. If you did, then right around here is where I'd be taking some points, Yeah, 5 points. Just do 5-point increments, Todd. I mean, if you got multiple contracts, it's easier to just think 5 points. If you got one contract, you could just say, hey, I'm going to try to stay short as long as we don't take out. See that yellow line? See that yellow line, Todd, on the middle of my chart? As long as we don't get back above there, that's where your stop would go according to this setup. Okay. Very nice, DJ. Good job, man. Congratulations. Todd, good job on your execution there. Fed. Oh, yeah, that's right. Fed chair. Thank you, Vincent. Vincent's back from vacation and already letting us know what's going on, man. I totally forgot. Thanks, dude. What's my percent gain on JPM? $1.75 to 250. Anybody know? What's the percent gain on that? Just it's like small. I can't do maths. It's more than 12%. Come on, man. 42. There we go. 42%, man, that quickly. Pretty cool, right? 42%. %42 in 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. On. Anybody know that song? Probably not. 6 minutes. See, I gotta market. I gotta do all this stuff, guys. I gotta trade. I gotta teach. I gotta market. It never stops. That's why I like to take my time to myself. You know, make money quick. Take a small vacation on my dock or something like that. And thank you for letting me know it was 42%. Trading. Oop. And CAT rejected that 964 all the way back down to 950. So $14 from my backside of my level there. All right, no close in the PMZ on the Nasdaq at the moment, but I mean, you got a couple opportunities to go short there on an aggressive approach. The risk is 70 points though, so it's not something I would really want to mess with. That's just me. Hello. Are you new here? Or did you change your name? John, what do you think of leaps on coin? What's up, Jason? Are you talking about my current leaps or just taking some more leaps? Oh, awesome. Welcome. How did you find out about the trendy room? I like to ask anyone that's brand new. How did you find out? Jason, so for me on coin, I'm sticking to it, baby. Um, but if I wanted to add to it, um, give me 1 second here. God, man, it looks just like Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It looks just like Bitcoin, dude. So it needs to get over its hump, doesn't it? It's if this then that. So one thing you'll notice, Jason, you got the indicators, right, man? You got the indicators, Jason? Okay. So on the yearly edge, man, I would not add to this trade unless it gets to 145 or if it gets above 178. Oh, awesome. Choice, not chance. You're new to Choice? That's awesome. Welcome to the room, guys. Yeah, Jason. So do it if this and that, dude. You're stuck big time. Just like Bitcoin, man. Just like Bitcoin. The only thing that I would ask Choice, if you get a second, change your little picture. Put a picture in there. Stick around a little bit. You know what I mean? That way we get to know you. You could do a picture of yourself or, kind of like whatever you want, man. You've been selling short-term puts? Nice. Why don't you let me know, Jason? Let me know when you do it, man. I like to follow some people's trades here and there. I trust you guys. Steve, who I met for lunch, man. He's the one that got me onto selling calls against my um, Nvidia trade, which I really effed up on that last one, man. And I was telling my wife yesterday, I was like, dude, if I just would have held it like my original plan, I could have recouped a lot of that money yesterday on that $8 pullback, right? That was crazy. I can't believe they moved that much, but also made money. So it's kind of like a catch 22. All right, guys, we came up, smacked the damn PMZ again, and broke down. Can you believe that I made this PMZ many, many years ago and it still works? That was the thing when I used to run a Discord room way, way back in the day. People were like, dude, don't sell this indicator. It works so well. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, obviously I was like, hey, I can make money. So we started selling it out of convenience. Did you guys know that I did an auction? The first time I ever sold this is a story you may not know. I'll share it while we're sitting here waiting for something special to happen. Um, you may not know this, but I think it's a cool story. Is when I first made my indicators, I was in a Discord room, my Discord room, and I was like, I don't really want to sell them to people. So what I did was I said, you give me what you think they're worth. So a bunch of people said, hey, I'll take them. And then I gave them the indicator, and then they sent me money instead of me asking for money. A couple people sent me some really crappy amounts of money, and we're no longer friends anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But that's how I did it. It was like kind of like an honor system. I was like, hey, here's my indicators. You give me what you think they're worth. I have now learned that I understand the worth of them. So there's a price for them because some people are just cheap. I think I think one of my good friends literally gave me like $99 for all of them. I was like, dude. Like who does that? So, Nakia, yeah, just, I don't, the reason why is because the candles are different. You know that? So the data that TradingView uses is actually different. So like their 4-hour candle is completely different. I don't know if you guys know that. So it's always going to throw things off a little bit. Um, I personally like Thinkorswim the most. Now those banners, they're a great indication like to help you, but I don't necessarily make a trade based off of those banners. I just look at it. What those banners are doing, I don't have a problem telling you, is they're looking back in the past and they're using my Fibonacci. So for example, if it's looking back a whole week, if prices are above the 38.2, the 23.6, it's gonna be bullish. So on the daily, if we're above a certain level on the fibs, it's letting us know if it's bullish. If it's bearish, that means it's dropped below a certain fib. So it's just some Fibonacci. And some of that candles will throw things off. Yeah. Yeah, just a general guide. Honestly, the most that I use that for is like, when we have a big run, if things are all mixed up, I really become neutral. It tells me, hey John, don't get too convicted on your longs and shorts, man. We just had a really the best thing to do, guys, in my opinion, is to look at the daily chart of the ES futures. And if we've moved up 2 to 3 days, we take a pause. Okay, I want you to become neutral until the market proves us otherwise. Does that make sense? That is the one of the best. Like a lot of people ask me, how do we know if it's going to be a choppy day? You know, go to your daily chart. So okay, so this right here would tell me to be neutral, right? 1, 2, pull back into a buy trigger, go long, and then we sold this morning. See how that works? Look where we stalled for anybody that's new. We stalled right at the trendy edges. Okay. So in order for it to prove itself, it needs to close above the trendy edges. All right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. That PMZ is a booger, isn't it? SOB right there. For you guys that haven't been around a long time, you know what SOB stands for? All right, JPM still moving up there, guys. Looking good, looking good. Getting closer to the target. The target was 345. 340 to 345. Okay. I froze on the explanation of trend. The trend itself, like the banners up there, they're just my Fibonacci, and I teach that in my classes. So it's just Fibonacci is what those trend banners are. So everything that I teach you is in my indicators, literally, to make it like that much more simple to understand. And by the way, the NASDAQ actually set up, I think, on a conservative strategy to go short there. It looks like it closed inside the PMZ. We did not close inside the PMZ here on the ES futures. So I didn't get a trade there because I was not aggressive. Okay. I was not aggressive. Remember, I'm long already. I'm already long, guys. So, and I trimmed this morning. Just in case you missed my morning huddle, I trimmed up here when we hit our supply zone. Nice move in JPM, folks. Nice move. NVIDIA is up a whole $1. Man, NVIDIA has been just a piece of junk most of the time. It reminds me of how Tesla was trading, how we'd have big moves and then it just kind of slows down. Hey guys, I went to Costco yesterday because they opened up here for the first time in our area. Holy moly. You know, it doesn't matter what day I go to Costco, it is busy as can be. It is, I mean, yeah, it was absolutely packed, man. I got a hot dog, I got some slices of pizza. I left with like $400 worth of stuff, and I only went there to look at umbrellas. You know how they get you, man. They really get you. So, all right, continue to sell off here. Remember, we still haven't come down and swept the liquidity chop or this purple zone. Doesn't mean we have to, but you guys can see we're getting really, really close to these areas and then pushing up. Now, we just swept the liquidity over here on NASDAQ. So I'm kind of looking or feeling like we could make it down to the purple zone. If we make it to the purple zone, then I'm going to go ahead and take the speculation that we are most likely going to come down and hit the liquidity chop on the ES futures. It is super choppy. Banks are still kicking butt. So I'm sure I haven't looked at the Dow, but I would imagine the Dow's doing pretty well, no? Um, Wash or whatever. Did he come out? Is he talking? Okay, right there. Thank you, Vincent. I would just now remember that, man, and you brought that up. So, Shinny John, Banks good for Dow, IBM not. So, what is the Dow Jones doing? It's up only 108 points. I got you. Okay. So, Mr. Warsh is speaking. Let's go ahead. This is where we could do some speculation. Yeah, here's the thing, guys. No matter what's happening, it's a hurry up and wait event, just like I said during the BMA. So let's not lose sight of that. We're just chopping, you know, we're just chopping. So QQQ, Iron Condor is now positive. That's good. And yeah. Okay. So, okay. So he's getting ready to speak, and we are between two levels. This is what I'm going to do. Watch this, guys. So I'm actually going to do a set and forget trade. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I want to show you how I would do this. I'm going to add to my position here. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do a MES. I'm going to add to this position. Let me find the MES volatility. All right, I think we're going to come down here and we're going to go long. I'm going to go long at 752, 7552. Okay, and I'm going to put that right there. And if it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out. So that's a set and forget type trade. So it's like, you know, I don't even care. I'm just using a zone. So what I did was I set up my trade to go long here. If he says something that pisses off the market, basically it'll drop down to my zone, and then the idea is we push right back up and I get a few points. Okay. Everybody understand that? Cool. Another place where I would look to try to buy is, see in this gray zone how I've hit 25%, 50%. We would try to go long at 75.29 by 75.22. So in this area. Now you can also just stay short if you want to. All right. Stay short as long as we stay underneath the PMZ. And these areas where I talk about getting long could also be areas where you think about taking a trim. Okay. That's how you play that. Like, if you're listening to me and you're like, you don't agree with trying to buy the dip and you're staying short, just know where I want to buy the dip. Then you can think, okay, cool. I'm going to stay short my position and I'm going to take caution when we get to the area where John wants to buy. Does that make sense, guys? You don't have to trade the same position as me, but my levels work. Okay. So Ant-Man, I used so I have this, you couldn't see it on your side, but on one of my templates, it's called volatility, and I have a 13-point stop. So on a micros, we're talking what, like 65, 70 bucks, something like that. So for volatility, I typically do 13-point stops on my micros on zones. 13 points. That's about as much as I'll go. Now, that's when I'm intraday trading. You guys can write all this stuff on a sticky if you want. Intraday trading. When I'm buying the dip and holding, I'll be down 50 to 100 points. It doesn't matter. And I keep scaling in. So I dollar cost average. And then when the market moves up like it did today, then I'm able to take some trims. Okay. And the funny thing is, is that you sit back and you watch all this crap and you realize, like, man, we are really just sideways into earnings. Remember, we started with a neutral sentiment on fear and greed this week. And really, I would imagine that's kind of probably the overall direction, if you will. Oh, I'm sorry. The 1 minute has vanished from my screen. I apologize. Where in the hell did you go? There it is. I kind of like AVGO to 400. I'd expect it to stay within 390, 395 to 383 today, and maybe into Friday get 400. I'm gonna take a look there. Holy moly on JPM! Anybody stay in that bad boy? We're up $9 now, almost to target. Anybody take JPM with me? Or you guys just, it's okay if you don't. Sorry, I'm not trying to create FOMO at all. Just was curious if you like the setup. I mean, that's the thing. If I create a video, we watch it, you should feel better about taking the trade, I think. I feel like that's awesome, Todd. I feel like that's the way to do it. Also, for people that don't trade spreads, you don't have to trade a spread. If I buy a call debit spread, that means I'm bullish. You can just buy a call. If I buy a put debit spread, you can buy a put. You don't have to trade the spreads, guys. Okay. But I may go for 400 on AVGO. Give me 1 second here. Let's just see how expensive they are though. $400. What in the world is happening over here? That is expensive. Let me look at next Friday, the 24th. Okay. Go 400 to 425. Could do a butterfly here. I don't know, man. Somebody's like either selling or buying the 410s by 420s. And I'm like, I don't want to get run over. It's only Tuesday. Okay. Let's think about this. 400. Now, what I like to do is if we can actually hit my damn targets down here, that's when I would like the market's not giving me a clean flush on the ES side. So I'm not getting. There we go. Ooh, that got filled easy. It's not always a good sign, but I got a butterfly here. Now, some people ask me, hey, John, why do you do butterflies and spreads? The reason why, guys, is because I'm not totally convicted on a trade setup or I don't like the risk involved. So, like, instead of buying the straight up call at $700, I'm only paying 150 and I'm making, it a little bit more difficult. All right, guys, so here we go. Now we're finally getting down to the areas I was talking about. All right. So if you're short and you stayed short, you're pretty happy now, right? You're hitting the line in the sand. That would have been your target. And then your next target is going to be that purple line down there. So we see how we swept the liquidity chop. You see that wick, everybody? See that wick? That lets us know, okay? That lets us know that it's taking people's liquidity. That's called a liquidity sweep. And what it's doing is it's pissing a lot of people off who took a long and put their stops there. All right. And Shep says he took NQ there. Good luck to you on that, Shep. Now, Shep is doing that with no confirmation, which is not, that's how I like to trade. So I think me and Shep kind of share that. But I also like confirmation sometimes, but most of the time, if the zone is not very wide, I don't need confirmation to take the trade. You just need a couple points to make some good money in the NASDAQ, man. Now this butterfly is a nice little trade because it's a 10 wide. So you take $1,000 and you minus 150, and 850 is my potential revenue from this trade if it works out. Nice sweep. We got higher lows here. Okay. We could try to go long with a stop underneath the line in the sand here. But again, I have my set and forget down at the purple box. We'll see if it works. Now, our iron condor we sold yesterday. Okay. So we sold. And we got $224 of credit. Okay. $224 of credit. What you want to happen is for that to go to zero. And then we make $224. It'd be pretty freaking sweet if you ask me, man. But it's at $2 right now. That means you're making $24 a contract right now on that trade. Okay. And we have until tomorrow. Tomorrow is my anniversary, guys. Tomorrow is my anniversary with for Ashley and I. Nice trade there, Shep. Good job, man. Right from the purple zone, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Sam, that is a demand zone. That's a 4-hour demand zone. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks. I appreciate that, Reeve. Yeah, man. So we've been married, for a while now, and you know, and if you took the long off the liquidity chop there, like I said, we got the entry there. You're up several points. Nice move. Shep's a rich man now. Shep, I will take an anniversary gift. Just send it to my address. You're welcome. Just kidding, man. Yeah. So one thing that I'm not doing is showing you Fibonacci's to the upside. Okay. So when we get long and we go long, say from this entry right here, you might want to know, hey, well, John, where do I get out? What you do is you take your swing high and your swing low. And then, like, for example, we just hit the 50 and 618. This is the bearish GP or golden profit level of this area. So this would be a target. Okay. And you know that you could trim from your long position there. Okay. All right. And if we break back above 75, 76, we have an 85% probability we can go to 75, 84. Okay. And there's the first touch above. See if we can get some momentum here above 67. And then again, we'd be shooting for 84. So maybe peel out around 82 to 84 if we can get there. And first target before 84 would be 80. They are, Sam. So the purple and yellow and the top, the blue, are automatic zones. This is a beta indicator. It'll be for sell pretty soon, I'm sure. I just wanted to keep it on the charts for a couple months so you guys could get used to it and talk through it and all that fun stuff. Oh, let's keep those FIPs on there just to see if it plays out. Sorry. And let me heat my coffee up one more time. I'll be right back. All right, guys, let's see. We almost got to the 88.7 there. We got the nice little spike. Then we pulled back real fast. All good. Then AVGO is up about $2 or $3 from where we got in. Um, with a trade like this where the spreads are really wide, you're really not going to see the benefit of AVGO for a butterfly until towards the end of the week. So, and it's a really early in the week to make that trade. Yeah, I actually microwave mine as well, man. But I have that cup that keeps your stuff hot, but I just refuse to use it because the cord is kind of clunky, you know. So it has a base. It does, Shep. It stays on that. Um, they work. Have you ever seen them before? Do you even drink coffee? Do you drink coffee? Yeah, it does that. My best friend won't even touch coffee. He hates the smell of it, which is funny. I don't even think about the smell, dude. I think about waking up. My wife and I had this conversation about Coke drinkers versus coffee. Like the Coke is like sugar and stuff like that, but you can do Diet Coke. I heard Diet Coke has the most caffeine in it. But I used to think like, why would people drink Coke in the morning? But man, if you don't like to drink coffees, you could drink a Coke, like a Diet Coke, and just get your caffeine fix. Exactly. All right. Well, we're sitting here waiting to see if we can hit that 88.7. We already hit the first target, which was at 76. All right. So we're almost there. Come on. Come on, you son of a biscuit. We should do it right here. Let's go ahead and hit that level. Let's go ahead and hit that level. We're almost there, guys. Oh, yeah, I already got, sorry. So I didn't realize I already took profits. So I took the trade, and I guess on the spike up, I got out. Nice. Okay, cool. I was a little confused there. A little confused because I had my take profit right before that, and I just looked at my profit and loss, and I noticed that I got it. So, any thoughts on Tesla trade? Yeah, every time I take Tesla, it goes down. Any day it's up, you should go short the next day. I mean, that's what it feels like, dude. I've been saying that for a year now. Anytime they have a big run, short them. That's how I feel. And then I'm like, when am I going to be wrong? And it just doesn't, you know, I'm just never wrong. I should just take the short instead of trying to take the momentum. So, yeah, but here's my thoughts. We keep hitting the higher time sell zone. We are at the lower trendy edge, 393. Personally, I think you try to take a shot between 400 and 415, you know, and I don't have a problem taking that trade. What's up, Jasper? Insiders know when the pop will happen, take quick wins and get out. Yeah, man. But like, so even though I keep getting run over by Tesla, um, I'm still very thankful. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sell. I'm selling. Boop. I'm out completely, guys. What? There we go. I just got out. I just got out. Hell yeah. Who took the 618 to 88.7? Jasper, did you guys take it over in the SPX room? That was a clean setup right there. Hell yeah. What a move, baby. Not me. Iowa Farmer, good, good, good. Awesome. 618 to 88.7, man. Coined right here in the trendy room. I can't take credit for that. I actually learned that from a friend of mine years and years ago. But you know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I actually invited him here to this room, I think, a long time ago. We still have our, I'm like all over the place, but I'm just telling you guys random shit. We still have our peoples here doing our bathroom renovation. So we've been living upstairs for over a month now. It sucks. That's right. Jasper, what are your favorite trade setups to take? What do you find is the most profitable for you? Trading out of a zone, trading a PMZ, trading a different method. Like what kind of what is your thing, man? Selling. So like going short, Jasper? Is that what you mean? Nice, Kevin. Good job. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, so selling. I got you, man. They pay faster, I'm sure. Who is Tessia Texan? Is that one of you guys? I got a new follower here. And she reposted my stuff, so I was just curious if somebody in here. But sometimes we got bots too. Jasper, you got confirmation here or no? Let me know if you do. Hey, sorry about that, guys. I had to go outside and deal with some cleaners or some of the stuff that we did. Yeah, I see right here. This is where we take the put. Yep. And then let's look at 3 minutes. Right there. Higher high, lower high, low. Did you, Jasper, did you get confirmation right down here at 75.81? Is that where you would have got your 3-minute confirmation? Break of the third candle after the spike right here. But that is a higher high there. No? See? Low. You talking about right here? Wait a minute. So it would have been right around 88. Yep, this was the high, right? Lower high. And then you would have taken it right here at 75.89. Yeah, got it. Oh, let me